a 4 cup French press. So I've used 27 gram of coffee with 486. Like I told you, I use brandy. So brandy will give us 475 ml of water. So let's add some few water to get a 456 ml. So the first thing is proportion. Second thing is grind. So as this is a French press, we can always use in a French press grinding machine. So we can have a perfect filtration of the coffee. And the third one is water. Actually the water we should use just below our boiling point. Our boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius, but we are usually using 90 to 96 degrees Celsius of hot water, so we can have a perfect aroma or perfect taste of the coffee. And the fourth thing is like enemies, freshness. When we talk about the freshness, we have to keep our coffee always fresh. I don't know how far we have a fresh coffee for today, because this is an open bag. Though we have a shelf life, but it won't be as fresh as it is not open. So in order to keep our coffee fresh, we should always avoid from the four enemies. That enemy I've already explained to you during the environmental elements of the espresso shot. That is light, heat, moisture and oxygen. If we avoid these four enemies of the coffee, we will get our perfect shot of this coffee. In the meantime, I still have one more minute. I'll tell you more about this is like whenever we choose water, we can use water that is not contaminated. Yani this water is not mixed with calcium or sulfuric or like any chemicals. So the water should not be mixed with any chemicals. So the water should be free of chemicals, so that the taste of the coffee as well as the taste of the water, it will give us a perfect taste of the one we are looking for. Yani the perfect flavor. If you bring Sumatra, then we will get the RD and herbal flavor, perfect one. Yes. So if the water is mixed with a chemical, the water's flavor or the water's taste will already be destroyed by the chemical. So it should be have a free of chemicals, especially the sodium that we are using in the water. We should not use the sodium in this while we are doing coffee. So my time is exactly 4 minutes. I'll press the plunger in order to get the perfect coffee. Now as you can see the perfect shot of espresso.
Video.
We can see the perfect shot of espresso here also. See, I have a creamer. I have a creamer on the top. So the coffee is, the proportion is good. So we can say that if my proportion is not good, I will not have any creamer or anything on the top of the French press. So as I have a creamer, and see, when I do like this, I have an oily sticking around the cup.
Yeah.
So this means the proportion of the coffee is also good. See, the oil is sticking around the cup.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So that means the proportion is also a perfect one. Let's see how now the flavors are. We have seen the proportion is good. We have seen the timing, everything. Now we'll go for the 4 steps of the coffee tasting. The very first thing of the coffee tasting, we have to cup with our hand so the air won't go around our nose. So we just smell. First we will smell so that we can get the aroma of the coffee. Yeah? Okay, now I can feel really a different flavor. Yeah? So yes, I feel how you feel about the taste. Smell. Not bad.
I did something like cinnamon.
Cinnamon, can you? Yeah, for me also cinnamon, but something like a burnt because like so now we should have all the same smell, but I'm not exactly saying that we should have same, but if the proportion everything is okay and everything is perfect, then obviously we will have the same smell. Yeah? So in order to reach it, so let's smell it again. So we all of us having the same smell or no? Okay, I have the same smell of cinnamon and something like a burnt something. So now the second step of the coffee tasting is to slurp. So before we slurp, I will tell you the reason why we have to slurp and the way we have to slurp. When we slurp, we will take up the coffee and we'll put 50% of the water and air inside our mouth. So 50% we will keep it outside only. So when we slurp, we will just slurp the air. So air and a little bit of a coffee, so it will reach entire palate, so we can give the acidity of the coffee.
Yeah, I'm excited to slurp now.
Yeah, now let's slurp.
When you describe, you know. Yeah.
Now you should be careful that we should avoid our tongue from burning. So especially at this very hot coffee, we might get our tongue burned. So that is the reason we are taking only the 50% of the air and 50% of water inside, so we can avoid the tongue burning. So we are already slurped, so we will take the acidity now. Okay, now the
High acidity.
okay, Daniel. For me, the acidity is medium to low. For me, the acidity is medium to low. So let's see the real acidity of the coffee in the latter part of the coffee tasting. Now the third step is to sip the coffee so that we can locate the body of the coffee. So when we locate the body of the coffee, very important thing is we will measure the weight of the coffee, so we can tell if it is a full body, medium body or a light body. So when we locate the body, we can sip the coffee and we can let that coffee linger on the tip of our tongue for few seconds. So we will really know the weight of the coffee. Let's sip it again. Okay, the body is full. So actually we have to do a food pairing at this time of our coffee tasting stage. So now today I've chosen the food pairing is a chocolate, but the perfect food pairing for this coffee would be anything with a cheese or a cheesecake. But we have a chocolate. If you want to taste, you can taste. And the reason why we do a food pairing is to balance the taste of the coffee and our taste of our mouth. So the coffee's taste usually would be bitter. Yeah, the taste of the coffee usually will be bitter. So when we do a food pairing, with the food pairing, the coffee taste will become a very sweet, and it will balance our taste, flavor, everything inside our mouth. Yeah, so yeah, let's try it. The bitterness of the coffee is gone the moment we eat with the food.
Of course, we need to slurp the coffee and we'll have a food or first
No,
buy
as it is like for you only, like whether you like.
What should be?
Actually, the real thing is we will eat the food and we can drink the coffee. But usually for me, like I'm a different person. Like I also eat medicine first. First I drink water, then only I eat medicine. Like for me, I always do like this. It's a different kind of story for every person.
Yeah.
So now the final step of the coffee tasting is to describe the coffee. Now this is a very interesting part of the coffee tasting, and I like the most about the coffee tasting is to describe the coffee. So we get to connect with the coffee very nicely. So we get to connect more with the coffee. So as I have mentioned to you earlier, this flavor is earthy and herbal. The flavor of this Sumatran coffee is earthy and herbal. The body of this coffee is full body. Acidity is low, as I mentioned. Now I will tell you the reason why this Sumatran coffee, despite of being this is a dark roast coffee, why this coffee is a low acidity. Why this coffee has a low acidity.
Why?
Now, usually the dark roast coffee all have a very high acidity, but this Sumatra, he will have only very low acidity because of the climate in the Indonesia. The country is Indonesian, it is grown in Indonesia. In Indonesia, the whole of the year they are covered mostly in rain. So the Indonesian farmers, they don't get much sun to dry the coffee. Actually, to get this perfect acidity of the coffee, we should dry until the 11% of the caffeine is gone out of the coffee. But the Sumatran people, they live until the 50% of the caffeine only because they don't get enough sunlight to dry the coffee. And they usually dry 4 hours a day only. So that is the reason we have a low acidity. And this blend is done after reaching only to the warehouse. The rest of the coffee, they do the blending and roasting in their own farming only because they have enough sunlight. Okay, food pairing I have mentioned already. It is a cheese, the one with cheese or a cheesecake is a very nice for food pairing. And this Sumatran coffee, we can see the tiger in the picture. There, actually, in the world, we have 5 species of tiger. And this Sumatran tiger is one of the smallest or rarest species in the world. And this is the smallest species from among 5 tigers. This is the smallest family of the tiger. And this tiger, we call it Sumatran tigress. It is not a male, it is female.
It's a female.
Yeah, it is a female tiger. So for female tiger, we call it tigress. For male, we call it tiger. For tigress, it's a female. So this is a Sumatran tigress. So the scientific name it is given is Panthera. Panthera. Like you might have watched a Black Panther movie, the one with a black tiger.
Scientific name.
Yeah, so scientific name is Panthera.
I was advertised as Panther.
No, it's a Panthera. Panthera tigris. Okay. Then it represents here like this tiger is very rare species in the world and very special, very bold. This coffee is also very special and very bold. And this is the reason why they put a tiger's picture. And in the Indonesia, the women are considered to be the very, like strong women or very backbone of this coffee, because in that country, the women are the ones who pick the coffee. So for this is a single origin coffee, and this is a very special coffee for the other reason also, because in this coffee they will never pick a defect coffee. They will pick 3 times. So I forgot the 3 times, but I have a note here. So they will do a 3 times sorting for this coffee. The very first sort they will do for the size. First they will separate the sizes of the coffee differently. The second sort they will weight the density of the coffee. And the third size they will check for the quality. And that is the reason this coffee is very special. And that is the why they will never pick a defect coffee for the Sumatra. And this is the reason why this price is also very nice. This is a single origin. This will never blend with the other coffee also. And this is, like I mentioned, this is a only coffee with a hand-picked coffee. So the rest of the coffee, the other 8 core coffees, they are done with a machine, they are done with the farming tools, everything. But these are all done by a hand and especially done by a woman. That's it. So I finish in 10 minutes. So I still have 10 more minutes.
It's fine, thank you so much. I think what's your feedback? Anything
Anything pending, like
anything,
practice or